Okay, it says AI changes everything. That's a kind of a big statement, everything. Well, I think it's pretty close. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how Oracle's been responding to these changes that started. Well, I guess they started in earnest when ChatGPT 3.0 came out, and suddenly AI models started sounding a little bit like us. Okay, there are two big phases of this AI technology. One is the dawning of the AI era, which is a bunch of companies building these enormous AI models. They actually, they're actually an AI model right now. What's called a multimodal AI model is made up of several neural networks. Like your brain has several parts. It's actually it's kind of a perfect analogy. To do vision, you use one part of your brain. To do language, you use a different part of your brain. When you're building an AI model, you use a different neural network for vision. Seeing something, seeing its edges, seeing its shape, seeing its color, seeing it move. You use one neural network for seeing it, and quite a different neural network for recognizing what it is, identifying it. And then a third neural network to classify it and organize it and reason with that data. So very much like our brains, the modern AI system and a modern AI model is a multimodal model. It has multiple neural networks to look at different kinds of data, video data, textual data, hearing, things like that. Well, what's going on right now is a series of companies are spending vast fortunes training these AI models on publicly available data on the internet. Enormous amounts of data. And this has become this. And then once those models are built, it's the actual using those models to solve very important problems. Early diagnosis of cancer, for example. But there'll be a lot of surgery that is more precise and more accurate than human beings can do. Robots will be much better surgeons than human beings can be, for all sorts of interesting reasons you might not guess. Anyway, the big opportunity in AI training is upon us, and Oracle is a major participant in building data centers to do AI training. But the much, much larger opportunity, the one that will truly change the world, isn't the creation of the models themselves, the training of the models. What will change the world is when we start using these remarkable electronic brains, and that's what they are. These are remarkable electronic brains to solve humanity's most difficult and enduring problems. Now, there's one thing that's kind of interesting, where Oracle's explicitly involved, which is, as I said earlier, these AI models are trained on publicly available data, all the data on the internet. So if you look at ChatGPT or Anthropic, Grok, Llama, what have you, they're all trained on all of the data on the internet. In other words, publicly available data. But for these models to reach their peak value, you need to not train them not just on publicly available data, but you need to make privately owned data available to those models as well. And that's where Oracle plays a particularly important role, because most of the world's high-value data is already in an Oracle database. We just had to change, and it is past tense, we had to change, we did change that database so that that Oracle database can take the data that's already in the Oracle database and make it available to AI models for reasoning. So the AI model can reason on not just public data, but on private data. AI is an incredible tool. Some people think it's going to replace all human beings and all of our human endeavors. I don't think that's true. It will help us solve problems we couldn't solve on our own, however. It'll make us much better scientists and engineers and teachers and chefs and bricklayers and surgeons and what have you. We've never built a tool anything like this. I pressed the button and the slide didn't move. Didn't it? I pressed the button again. And this is not an AI device. One more time, and then I'm just going to say the word slide. Ah, there we go. Okay. Well, I did both, so who knows why? Who knows why it moved? Okay. I remember when this wasn't called AI World. Remember when it was called Cloud World a long time ago? I had a presentation about AI. Even though it was called Cloud World, I was still allowed to do a presentation on AI. And I said, is AI the most important technology in human history? And we're going to find out soon. Well, it's pretty clear. The smartest people I know are working on what? I didn't press the button. Okay, so not pressing the button. You back up the slide, please. Thank you. I just put that down. We're going to get a better one next time. The smartest people I know are investing fortunes. To be specific, they're investing their fortunes in building and training these AI models. That's how important they are. That's how extraordinary they are. And by the way, Elon, Mark, Sam, in alphabetical order, all really smart guys, extraordinary people. People that, this AI thing, maybe it's just a bubble, maybe it's just it's not that big a deal, maybe it's just a bubble. Well, the internet really was, the internet was a big deal. I mean, most people, if you look at the fortunes created on the internet, certainly worked out for Google, searches seem to have paid off. And Elon on that list did start PayPal, and that paid off nicely. But I know that I've asked Elon, he said he definitely didn't put a dime into pets.com. And the thing is, when people talk about bubbles, what is a bubble? And people get exuberant. The internet was an incredible new technology. It remains the foundation of computing, and we couldn't have AI without the internet. So it's incredibly important technology, but the people started confusing internet companies like a PayPal, or even worse, internet search, worse meaning better, with pets.com. I mean, the fact that if I can sell pet food in an e-commerce site, that suddenly means I'm an internet company. Not really. So yes, there'll be people spending money on AI, because almost every tech company these days call themselves an AI company, but they're not. A lot of them are not. But AI, in terms of its value, this is the highest value technology we have ever seen, by far. Next slide, please. AI. It's interesting because it's called artificial intelligence, but as opposed to artificial perception. But it does perceive. It hears, it smells. Think about smelling. I mean, the idea that you can pick up chemicals that are just drifting around in the atmosphere and figure out what those chemicals are. Dogs can smell cancer in patients. We should be able to do that with AI. We should be able to, in fact, there's a project I know of called The Dog's Nose that I'm actually a part of. And we're building sensors. We're building sensors that can smell cancer or other illnesses. But the AI perceives. It's got the part of the brain that hears and sees, in addition to reasoning. I mean, it can read street signs. It can read a page on a book. It can take a look at you and recognize you. You can identify the song that's playing. You can talk to AI and ask it a question or type it out. And AI can reason logically, very quickly, using language the same way we do, and mathematics. And I remember I was over at Tesla looking at the Optimus robots, and I was curious just how the robots were going to learn, and then just thought about it for a minute and said, well, how would a robot learn how to clean your house or scramble eggs or play the guitar? Well, it would just watch an internet video. It's connected to the internet. It can learn to play piano just like we would watching an internet video, except it would do it a little faster because it can play the internet video at very, very high speed and learn to play that piece by Chopin in about 5 seconds, which I know my kids can't learn to play piano that fast, because I listen to them practice every day. And 5 seconds is out of the question. AI robots will be much better surgeons than the best doctors. There's this very famous surgery started by Dr. Mose, who actually would take cancer lesions off patients' faces. And he was so famous for it because he did the least damage. He took the least amount of tissue off your skin. So cosmetically, he had fantastic results. And what he did, he would take a couple of layers of skin off and then take that skin over to a microscope and look at it and see, is he taking any healthy cells out yet? I mean, how deep does the cancer go? So he's back and forth, cut a little bit of tissue, look at it on a microscope, cut a little bit more tissue, look at it. Well, AI robots don't play fair. Their vision, the vision on the robot, it is microscopic. They can see they don't need a microscope to see individual cells. They don't need a microscope to see where the cancer ends and the healthy tissue begins. And their coordination, it is exactly, they're better surgeons than we are, not because they're smarter than we are, but because they have better hand-eye coordination. Their eyes are way better than ours, and the precision of their hands is way better than ours, so they can cut between a layer of healthy cells and a layer of cancer cells. It's truly stunning to watch. And it will make us all, and it'll be very reassuring. We can go to a doctor who's using a robot to do the surgery. The surgery will be perfect. I said this earlier, but it is so interesting. It's built just like the brains, specialized neural networks. One for vision. I mean, literally a convolution neural network simulates the visual cortex. The visual cortex has 5 layers. It's right in the back of your head. And evolution produced the very first layer of V1 was just so the animal could first perceive edges of something they were looking at. Then it got up to 4 for color, and the very famous V5 for motion, detecting motion and threats in the environment. The VITs, the vision transformers, that then took that bitmap. So that convolution neural network produced a bitmap, an image, a bunch of pixels, if you will, and then the vision transformer then compares that to things that you already know, and you can recognize faces and things that are familiar. And that's a transformer. That's a VIT neural network for a holistic understanding of the image and recording it. Version 3 of ChatGPT was the one that used the huge transformer networks that did comprehensive language and reasoning. The only drawback with that, the transformer networks, because we had facial recognition long before we had the ability to converse and reason using language with the GPT network. The generalized, pre-trained transformer network, which is what is doing the language and the reasoning. But that requires enormous amounts of compute, thus the requirement for fortunes to train these models, these networks. The transformer network is much bigger and much more complex than some of the other networks. As you think, reasoning would be more complex than vision. And then there are networks for certain types of mathematics. Anyway, the looks a lot like the brain. So the brain has a lot of, it's amazing. 20-watt human brain, 20 watts. You know, anyone screwed into 20-watt light bulb, no, that's not a lot of light. But it's enough to run 86 billion neurons and give you vision and balance and reasoning and language and creativity and the ability of deduction and inferencing. You can do all of that with this incredible, what Elon calls a 20-watt meat, computer. Sensation, recognition, after recognition, the ability to reason on that. Again, the visual cortex is right behind the parietal lobe, behind and below it. The prefrontal lobe, as you can see on the left side, is a big language center. The brain is very specialized. So are the AI models. But we're not building a 20-watt meat computer. We're building a 1.2 billion watt AI brain. Did you ever try to do multiplication as fast as an HP calculator? These electronic brains, these AI models, reason, and they reason very quickly. And they can deal with a lot of data. And they can get to answers that we've never gotten to. This is a picture of a data center we're in the process of building. Actually, it's up and running. Part of it is up and running. Eventually, it's going to have 500,000 NVIDIA GPUs in it. By the way, to give you an idea, 1.2 billion watts, what does that really mean? That's enough to power 1 million four-bedroom homes in the United States. 1 million. It's a pretty good sized city. And I think we got a video on the construction.
Oracle is building the world's largest AI cluster for OpenAI in Abilene, Texas. The project began as empty land in June 2024 and is delivering GPUs in less than 1 year. The cluster will contain more than 450,000 NVIDIA GB200s when fully provisioned. Power is provided by a combination of grid power and on-site natural gas turbines. Capacity is provided in 8 separate buildings spanning 1,000 acres, all interconnected together to support a single workload. This site deploys the latest technology across AI accelerators, liquid cooling, and networking. More than 3,500 people work on-site each day to deliver capacity at an unprecedented rate. Demand for AI continues to exceed supply, and Oracle is committed to delivering the largest and most advanced AI clusters to support our customers all over the world.
Well, that's a long way from writing code in my bedroom in college. What happened? No idea. Okay. Okay, so we're training. We are in the middle. We trained the very first version of Grok for Elon. We're training a number of other of these multimodal AI models. Almost all of these AI models are in the Oracle Cloud, and I'll come back to that. But yeah, we're probably involved. We're certainly involved in training more multimodal AI models than any other company. And it's very exciting. It's very exciting, and it's daunting. I mean, the size of these projects that we're running it's not just building the network of GPUs, the computer rooms, and the networks, and the cooling, and that was hard. By the way, that was hard in the first place. But now we have to build the power transmission plants. There's a natural gas pipeline that goes to the gas turbines, that fires up the gas turbines and then generate electricity. That electricity then has to be moved to the data center, so it's power generation, it's gas pipelines, power generation, power transmission, data centers, networks, and those data centers are filled with lots and lots and lots of complex software and a lot of very smart, hardworking engineers. These are enormous engineering projects, each and every one of them. And what we're trying to build are these multimodal neural networks, trained on all types of data: textual data, images data, audio, video, every publicly available piece of data plus synthetic data. We train these models on. Some of the models are designed to be real time. Actually, Google has two models. One is Gemini, one is DeepMind. The DeepMind is highly specialized around molecular structures, and DeepMind won a Nobel Prize last year. Not this year, last year. Won a Nobel Prize on protein folding. They understand it's taking a molecule, you understand the chemical formula of that protein, of that chain of amino acids, and what does it look like in 3D when you fold it up and it's no longer a string. It's now folded. That's a problem we've been working on for a very long time, on folding proteins, and they solved it with the DeepMind model that Google owns when they bought DeepMind in London. Elon has two AI models that are very, very different. One is Grok, multimodal AI model. The other is Tesla, and it's a real-time model. And real-time models have some different characteristics than let's say, an Anthropic, which generates code, or a ChatGPT, which is solving a legal problem or a medical problem, something like that. If you're driving cars, things happen very fast. So yes, you have to have vision, you have to have cameras all over those cars, but if something happens, you might be required to respond in a microsecond, in a millisecond at least. A microsecond is really fast. A millisecond in the car, a thousandth of a second. A ball, something's coming off a curb, and a bike is following the ball. And you have to see it, understand what's going on, and take evasive action so there's no accident and no one's injured. You have to build things differently when you can't afford the network traffic. You go back across the network and talk to a computer, an AI model on a network that's far away. You need a very, very low latency response time. That's why all the Tesla cars, all the Tesla robots have to have local compute in the car, local compute in the robot to make an immediate decision, a very low latency decision. That's not required. For example, if you're writing code, I can tell you what code to write, and you can take a moment to think about it and then give an answer. So the real-time models are a bit different than the models that don't require real time, where you have some time to reason and compute your answer. But both types of models are very important, and both types of models are being built. These models do multi-step reasoning. I know, what I'm calling reasoning not long ago was called inferencing. People would talk about, we got to train the model, there's one thing where we train the model, and then we're using the model when the model's reasoning, we reduce that to just inferencing, a type of reasoning. That's no longer true. In the early days, that's kind of what models did, was inferencing. Not anymore. They reason like we reason. And there's a list. They do deductions. They do inferencing. They do calculations. They have strategy. They have rules. All the techniques, the reasoning techniques that we use, they simulate and use. But they think a lot faster than we do and solve problems a lot faster than we do. Or they solve really complicated problems that we can't solve at all. And that's what makes this so exciting and makes this so enormously valuable. These models can answer your questions. They can generate computer code. A lot of the code that Oracle is writing, Oracle isn't writing. Our AI models are writing. We just tell the model what we want the program to do, and then the AI comes up with a step-by-step process to actually do it. We don't write the procedure, we declare our intent, but the model writes the step-by-step procedure, that thing that we commonly think of as a computer program. They diagnose medical images far better than we do. They design drugs that we can't. But there's a big gotcha. There's a big gotcha on these models, and that is the models do not get trained on your private data because for some reason private data people want to keep their private data private. And that's not going to change. But people also want these models to reason on their private data. You know, have your cake, eat it too, whatever you want to call it. I want to keep my data private. I don't want to share it with anybody else. However, I'd like to use this enormously powerful tool to reason on my private data. And that's what what's one of the big things Oracle's been applying itself to in terms of solving that particular problem. And we have this new thing where we're talking about this week here in Las Vegas is the Oracle AI Data Platform, the Oracle AI Database, and the Oracle AI Data Platform. And interesting thing about the AI Data Platform, it includes a multimodal model of your choice. Well, a multimodal model of your choice. Okay, that's great. And so if you want to use Rock in the Oracle Cloud, you can use Rock. If you want to use ChatGPT, you can use ChatGPT. If you want to use Llama, you can use Llama. You want to use Gemini, you can use Gemini. And we'll attach that model, the model of your choice, to not only the public data, the model's already connected to the public data, that's done. But we give you the ability to add your private data to the model's library of information and knowledge. So the model can reason across not just public data, but also private data while keeping your private data private, not sharing it with anybody else. That's very, very important. And it's not easy to do it in a highly secure way. It's not easy. If it was easy, a lot of people would have already done it. Okay, so as I said, the OCI includes all of the popular multimodal models. You can mix and match, and we have the AI database and the AI data platform that lets you add private data to the models. In fact, I'm going to be a little more precise this time. What it really does, and it's called RAG, by the way. You basically take a bunch of data that the model has not been trained on. And by the way, that might be today's stock prices. The model doesn't know today's news. The model doesn't know, hasn't been trained on today's news. The model hasn't been trained on today's stock prices. Now the model knows where to look for, it knows how to ask to look at today's stock prices. It knows how to look at the ticker and get the very latest quote on today's stock prices. You just put that information in a database that the model can access. And you put your private data in an Oracle database. In an Oracle database, the new Oracle database is called an AI database, not just because AI is fashionable. The new Oracle database is called an AI database because it has this RAG capability. It has the ability to take any of the data in the Oracle database and make it accessible to the AI model by vectorizing it. So, since a lot of your data is in an Oracle database already, you simply have to ask the Oracle database to put that data in a format the model will understand, and that's called a vector format. And the Oracle database will vectorize any data that you want to make available to the model, and then you can reason on it. By the way, but it's not just data. It's not just data in an Oracle database that an Oracle database will, the Oracle AI database will vectorize. Let's say you have a lot of data in OCI Object Store, or Amazon Object Store for that matter, and you'd like to make that data available to the model, to the Oracle AI data platform. No problem. The Oracle database can go into OCI Object Store and vectorize and create what's called a vector index to data in OCI Object Store. It can go into Amazon cloud storage and vectorize portions of that that belong to you and make that accessible for reasoning by the multimodal model. So you're not restricted to data that's just in the database. The Oracle database can vectorize anything that's in an Oracle database, a different database, a different cloud, and make that data easily accessible to the AI model for reasoning. And the reasoning is fascinating. The first thing that Oracle did, so the first project Oracle did in terms of taking private data and making it accessible to AI models is we took all of our customer data and we vectorized it. We basically used RAG, and used RAG to make it available to the models. So we started with customer data because we think there's nothing more important to us than our customers. Now, some people who are cynical, you would say there's nothing more valuable to us than our customers. But they go hand in hand. So there were certain interesting questions we wanted to ask. We thought were extremely high value questions. And there's a whole industry called customer relationship management. Well, actually, it's not called that anymore. They changed the name to CX, customer engagement management. Whatever the name is, we know what the questions are. So we ran this project inside of Oracle, took our private customer data, put it in an Oracle database, vectorized it, and used RAG to make it accessible to models, to a multimodal model, an AI model. And then we asked the question, what Oracle customers are likely to buy another Oracle product in the next 6 months? Now, why should that be important to us? And specifically, what product, each and every customer that's going to buy something in the next 6 months, do you mind telling me what product they're going to buy? And you answer that question. They're most likely to buy. And then one thing, and by the way, it's not just questions that this thing does. You can ask questions, you can prompt it and get answers, but you can also ask it to do things via agents. You can create little computer programs, sometimes not so little, and ask the AI to actually do something, to orchestrate some process. And then we said, okay, let's send a mail to all of our prospective buyers with the 3 best customer references, encouraging them to buy. Now, that request required the generation of a computer program called an AI agent that had to figure out, okay, you were going to buy this product, you're a bank in Switzerland. So we think the best references would be the banks in Switzerland that have already bought that product for you. Those would be the best references for you. So all of the references would be customized based on what we know about you as a customer and the exact situation you're in, the business you're in, the products you have, the other banks you have good relationships with and you can call for a reference. Anyway, it's extremely interesting that it can solve a problem like this so quickly and tell us what the sales force should be concentrating on at Oracle over the next 6 months. Kind of amazing. Okay, so that application, that AI agent, if I can just back this up one. I'm gonna have to get back on my slide once. Okay, the last thing, the last line, send an email to prospective buyers